This week, we're back at the Novillos Ranch with good friend Brian Zaitz.
Exactly what we're looking for from a management perspective.
McWhorter Custom Rifles presents
This week, we're back at the Novillos Ranch with good friend Brian Zaitz. It's been a while since we've hunted with him, but we started at the Novillos Ranch when we met him, and he's looking forward to his return.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, Macmillan Fiberglass Stocks, Swarovski Optic, Hornady Ammunition, and Borden Accuracy.
Brian Zaitz, he used to hunt the Novillos with his wife Pam years ago, about 15 years ago. He hunted a lot. They had a TV show, and that's where we got to know them. Great people. For those years, they were just like hunting with family, and we always looked forward to them, and it was going to be really nice to have Brian back. What I like about Brian, if he's going to do something, he's going to go all out. He knows guns, he knows scopes, he knows ammunition, and he knows deer. If he's going to get something done, he's going to put the effort in.
I'm Brian Zaitz. I've hunted South Texas pretty much my whole life, born and raised in Texas. South Texas is different. It's a special place. I've been blessed to hunt in the hill country, West Texas, but South Texas, if you've ever been here, it just draws you in. It's mystical. You just don't know what you're gonna see. And while there's good deer in South Texas, and a lot of it, the Novillos in particular, it's a special place. It's hard to describe the quality and consistency of the deer. So Jackie has implemented over a long period of time a very strict management program here. And management is a lot more than just the deer themselves. You know, it doesn't hurt that Jackie is not only a rancher and a farmer, so he understands every bit, you know, the science behind all of it. But Jackie manages the Novillos Ranch and his property with a great intensity. So Jackie called me, 3 weeks or so ago. It was a little bit before Christmas, closing the end of the year and everything. My phone rings and it says, Jackie Scoggins. I thought, what is Jackie calling me for? It's late in the year. Normally this is summertime or something's going on. Deer in velvet, he's sending me pictures, what have you, but I get a call a week or so before Christmas. Jackie says, hey, can you come down to the ranch? We've seen a few management deer we need to try and get off the ranch. Would you be willing to come down? I think I drove straight home, got dressed, and I've been sleeping in these same clothes because I was so ready to get back down here.
Brian rolls into camp, and we have a brand new McWhorter 6.5 PRC with a Swarovski X5 on top. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to the range and let him throw a few downrange to get used to the rifle. And as to be expected, the McWhorter 6.5 and Brian were spot on. He was ready to go to the blind.
We're at the Novillos for a late season, early January hunt. There's a couple of bucks that we're actually looking for that are older, mature deer, but they're maybe sort of on the decline a little bit. And these couple of deer, when you're in intense management, is exactly the kind of deer we're looking for.
great deer by anybody's standards, but we're looking for a couple of specific deer, hopefully, if they show up. So we're just kind of getting set, getting ready. Probably need to get the windows open. Few deer are already out, a couple of does. Hopefully it's a good evening.
First afternoon out, it was really, really slow. He said very few deer and not even a call. Welcome back to the Novillos, Brian.
This segment is brought to you by Board & Accuracy, makers of the most accurate custom hunting actions on the market. Manufactured in the USA to true bench rest tolerances. Board & Accuracy equals success.
So the next morning rolls around and it's foggy and it's misty and it's just nasty. Even though it was rainy and nasty, if you're a whitetail hunter, you know sometimes that can kick off a lot of movement and the deer will move and give you an opportunity.
Well, we've gotten in the stand. The fog's not as bad as we thought it might have been. It's starting to lift quite a bit. The breeze is a lot lower. It's about 10 degrees cooler than we expected it to be. That's just Texas weather. But we've got some deer out already.
As to be expected, the deer were moving. They saw a lot of deer and a lot of javelina, and as luck would have it, a really nice management 8-point stepped out.
It's the perfect kind of deer to take from a management perspective. There's a lot of big deer on this ranch and they don't get big unless you have intense game management. This is exactly the kind of buck you want to take out. Beautiful deer though. Wow, look at that. It's exactly the kind of deer you take off the Novillos from a management perspective. Hunted down here for over a decade and you don't see a lot of them, but when you do, you got to do your part. Jackie works too hard to have strict wildlife management down here with everything that's done. When you get the opportunity to play your part, and your number's called, it's your time.
The next hunt, Brian's going to the new pipeline blind that's on the north end of the Novillos. Seth and I had a great couple of hunts there about a month ago, and he's going to take the 6.5 PRC and see what he can get done.
Well, we're going to hunt a late morning, into the early afternoon. We've got the weather's cooperating still. It's a little cool.
light mist, deer are still moving, and mature deer, like we're looking for, often move late morning into the midday. So we're gonna give it a few hours probably and see if we can't find a good deer around here. This is the pipeline area that we call. There's a couple senderos back behind me, and then we're looking down the length of a cleared area of a pipeline. So we'll see how this goes.
At the far end of one of the senderos, a really old high rack buck stepped out, definitely mature, and they hadn't seen him but just a couple of times. The deer would not present a shot. It stayed facing him for the longest time. Finally, the deer gave him a shot as he turned, and Brian settled behind the 6.5 PRC, put the crosshairs on the high shoulder.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Extreme Wildlife Adventures, Hoff Power Auto and Outdoor Stores, Surge Pro by Biofact Crop Care, Ultimate Antler Deer Feed, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and Mesquite Creek Taxidermy.
Finally, the deer gave him a shot as he turned, and Brian settled behind the 6.5 PRC, put the crosshairs on the high shoulder.
This is why you hunt midday. You see a couple of deer, but mature deer like this, you can't get them if you're not out here.
What a beautiful deer. Palming through the 2s and 3s area, getting a little bit of weight to the horns. Just an old deer, just never grew a lot of tine length. Exactly the kind of deer from a management perspective you want to continue to look for. This deer hadn't been seen but maybe once, and we were very blessed to see that today. Midday hunting, you just got to be out there.
All right, welcome back to another downrange shooting tip with Alan and myself. We're going to discuss the cant and also the importance of a bubble level. There's a couple of factors that feed into that. Whenever you initially level out your scope and make sure it's on there, it needs to be truly, dissecting the bore, vertical through the bore, because if you have cant in your mounting system, it's going to cause issues. But right now, I'm just going to really focus on the bubble level itself and how important it is. I'm going to go ahead and get it down behind the scope. I'm going to go ahead and line up with the 200 yard zero, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to put the 5 degrees of cant into it, and I'm going to dial the 27.25 minutes that it takes for this rifle to reach 1,000 yards, and you'll see that it's going to move down to the right, and as I come back on target and I'm still in that 5 degrees cant, I've moved left. So with the wind that we have, and depending on that, I might switch it to the right depending on what wind we have, and we'll try and mitigate the wind so you see what the true amount of the cant, how much it's going to induce a missed shot. Usually on most rifles, especially on the 6.5 Creedmoor, 5 degrees of cant is going to be about 30 inches. So we'll see how that goes. Alan's going to give me some wind to change, so you might see that I might switch back and forth trying to mitigate the wind so we can actually calculate the true cant effect. All right, so let's go ahead and get behind the rifle. Starting off, I'm going to go ahead and put the 5 degrees of cant. Is it a left wind or a right wind right now,
Left
Alan?
wind, about 3 miles an hour.
Left wind, so I'm going to go ahead and cant to the right, 5 degrees, which is right about there. I'm still on my 200 yard zero. I'm going to put it on the target, just parallax just a little bit. All right, Now I'm going to dial up to 27 minutes.
It's changing again.
All right, it's all right, I'll switch. I just want to demonstrate. Now you see how I've moved down and to the right, and now I'm coming up and left into the target. We have a left-hand wind, so I'm gonna go ahead and change the cant to the 5 degrees left. And what would be the wind hold, Alan?
Give me a minute left.
A minute left. All right, ready?
Send it.
All right, you can see that impact off to the right, about 25 inches or so. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and level up the gun, and we're gonna see if we can't get that corrected with our wind hold and see what the right looks like.
Left 2.5 miles an hour.
Okay.
On the dot. Good shot.
All right, so
Good wind
now you
call.
can see, thank you. So now you can see the importance of the level. At extended distance, especially 500 yards and beyond, it's really going to be critical whether or not you have an ethical shot, ethical hit, or a critical miss, which could potentially wound an animal or completely miss outright. So that concludes another downrange shooting tip from McWhorter Custom Rifles and Precision Hunting TV with Alan and Keith.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Tacticam, Leo Photo USA, Sig Sauer, Trigger Tech, Brux Barrels, and Hawkins Precision. This segment is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, real Texas barbecue.
For Brian's last hunt, they're looking for a big, short time 12-point.
So we've gotten in the stand, afternoon hunt. Weather's definitely changing. See, I'm short sleeve shirt. It was about 20 degrees cooler yesterday evening, but still kind of overcast. The deer have been moving today. We're gonna sit here and see if we can see a couple of deer that we're really looking for. We'll go from there, but should be a good evening hunt.
They had a lot of movement. There was lots of deer moving around and feeding, and finally, that big 12-point showed up. When the buck finally presented a shot, the 6.5 PRC was out the window. Brian settled in and made the shot.
I think he ran to the right. I think I got a shot just behind the shoulder. I think we're gonna give him a few minutes here. We still have maybe an hour of daylight at most, but we'll give him a few minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, and see, maybe half an hour. Then we'll walk down. I don't think he's gonna be too far in the brush down here to the right. So the deer is about 260 yards down here or so, give or take, in front of this blind. So now we're gonna edge around this brush, go down that sendero, go down and see if we can find where he moved into the brush, find first initial signs of it. We'll track him. I'm not thinking he's gonna be far. So he was standing right about in here. Yeah, here. There he is right here. Look at this. This is what we were looking for, right here. So the afternoon hunt ended well. We got up in a stand mid to late afternoon today. The weather had really cleared out. It's been overcast, drizzly, cooler weather, and it's really warmed up this afternoon. And this is the deer that we've actually been trying to locate. He's been seen a couple of times, but it's a deer that the ranch, Jackie had said he'd really like to get off the ranch at this point. It's the management here is pretty strict. You know, there's some solid deer, mature deer. You got to let them get old. This is a beautiful buck, typical 12. He was about 260 yards or so. We were able to, it all happened pretty quick. He's known to be a little bit spooky. He didn't go maybe 30 yards off the brush here, but the McWhorter rifle is just unreal. You know, it helps you to compensate for your own error, because it's a precision piece of equipment, but it's accurate. That 6.5 PRC just punched right in it and took this deer down. What a beautiful buck.
3 great deer for Brian. His return trip to the Novillos was a success, and you're always welcome, friend.